So guys, today DICE released yet another weapon balancing patch, patch 5.2.2, this time aimed at trying to fix some of the big issues the last patch created. But with that being said, they have stopped well short of a full revert to the 5.0 stats, which a lot of people have been calling for. So the question is, will this be enough? Well guys, this is BillyEatWorld again, and let's find out. Alright, welcome to the video, and to kick off, the first thing I should start by saying is, look, in all of my videos I do try and use half-decent clips, and in this video it's no different. As you can see here, I'm still getting kill streaks with all of these guns, but what you guys aren't seeing is how long it took to get those streaks or how much fun I was having at the time. And that's a good segue into the first thing I want to talk about in this video, which is that the whole point of 5.2.2 is to try and address some of the awful balancing issues that 5.2 created. And look, I've got to admit, it has worked to some degree. Some of the guns like the FG42 that were worst hit by the last patch are actually a lot more usable now, but some are still absolutely atrocious, like for example the Sturmgewehr 1-5. But in saying that though, that's actually not what I want to concentrate on in this video. 5.2 we know was basically a reset button for BF5, and we kind of already knew that that kind of thing would happen. And look, DICE was always going to fix those sort of obvious balancing problems, but like I said, the real problem with BF5 now is that it feels like a completely different game. So in a nutshell, 5.2.2 isn't a patch that's going to make Battlefield feel like the game you first bought. All it's going to do is fix up those obvious issues. And so basically, if you weren't really having fun with the feel of the new Gunplay before this one, well, don't really expect it to change after this patch. And like I said, that's what you're not seeing that I'm feeling all the way through this particular gameplay. Now, with that being said, I don't want to pull any punches in this video. I was a huge fan of Battlefield 5's vanilla gunplay, and I'm really not a fan that they made any changes to that at all. And if I didn't make it clear enough in the last video, well, I think probably the biggest problem with the changes is that I think it's taken a lot of the challenge out of the game for me. If you follow any community social media channels, you'll see that a lot of veteran players are having an even easier time now with the game than they did before. And that's because a lot of the more powerful guns that were previously balanced by higher recoil and weapon sway are now actually pretty easy to use. And in this patch, some of them got even easier. For the most part though, what 5.2.2 has actually done is reduce the bullets to kill of some of the most affected weapons, like for example the LMGs and some of the faster firing DMRs. But as you can see here, almost nothing has been done about the weapon handling changes from 5.2. Yes, there's been some recoil tweaks, but most of them are actually buffs. And so here, for example, is the STG 1-5, which used to be one of the best guns in the game. Not only now does it have a terrible damage model at just about every range, but it's also ridiculously easy to use. And that really sucks, because it used to be a tricky gun to use, and you had to trade off recoil compensation versus hipfire in your spec tree, and that was half the fun of it. It was rewarding, and it required skill. Now, I mean, we could go through all of the changes and all of the current stats and find examples of good guns and bad guns and fun guns and boring guns, but that's not really what this video is all about. You guys will make your mind up on all of that sort of stuff on your own. But the point of this video is that if DICE are going to stick to this whole idea of making weapons less deadly but easier to use, well, they're going to continue to turn players like me off the game. And I don't want that to happen. Battlefield 5 is still one of my favorite games even after these changes, but I'd love to jump in and play with the classes every other day or so, you know? But at the moment, I just keep going back to the medic carbines or the recon guns, because I mean, they haven't changed, and sure, the other guns can get kill streaks, but they're just not that fun anymore. So anyway, bearing that in mind, to finish up, the big problem I see going forward from this patch is that it's creating another divide in the player base. The fact is, if they continue to balance this new meta, I'm sure people are going to convert and maybe even start to enjoy it, but a lot of people simply won't, and then they'll have created another rift in the community, which they'll have to deal with when they're making the next game. And just on that note, I think one of the things they could have done to try and avoid that problem with 5.2 is look back and try and emulate the weapon handling of one of the more popular games in the franchise, like for example BF4 or even Battlefield 1. Except that they didn't do that with 5.2. This is still way more extreme, way more casual even than Battlefield 1, which was criticized for being a casual game. But anyway, guys, that just about wraps up this quick video. So as always, just before you go, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of patch 5.2.2? Are you someone who would prefer it to revert back to the 5.0 stats, or are you actually liking this new meta? Let me know what you think down below. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please feel free to check out the links in the description if you want to see any more of these videos. And also don't forget you can find my Twitter and Discord links down there as well if you want to keep in touch. And as always, until next time, see you later, and have a good one.